this is a super exciting part, when we're going to talk about our foundation, which is called the Seeds for Change Foundation. Now, this was started right from the beginning, right when we started RAIN and took this company over. We wanted to incorporate something bigger than really all of us. And the Seeds for Change Foundation is exactly that. And we've been able to impact and help people all around the world that don't even know who RAIN is through this amazing foundation. And Byron, you've brought some special guests to talk about this today.
I love it. In case you're exactly right, the bigger we get, the more we can do and the bigger difference we can make in people's lives. And this is happening because of you. And so we thank you first and foremost as we get into this. I'd love to welcome Melissa and Arturo for coming and all the work that they're doing out there. And it's not easy. And I'm sure right now it's not easy. So hello, Arturo. Hello, Melissa. Welcome. Thanks for being here. But how, first off, are things around the world and how is that affecting what we're trying to accomplish here at Seeds for Change?
Thank you, Byron. That's an excellent question. And by now we see the word COVID thrown around every second of almost every day. I'd like to talk about COVID as it relates to the work of Seeds for Change Foundation. The COVID pandemic has had a massive blow on the global fight against poverty. Some experts say that COVID is reversing all our efforts for poverty reduction a good 5 to 10 years. To give you some numbers, the World Food Program, for example, predicts that just in 2020 alone, because of COVID, we're going to see a doubling of acute hunger. So that's about 270 million people this year that will go to bed hungry every night. And that's pretty catastrophic and mind-blowing. Beyond hunger, global economists are predicting that COVID could drive an additional 70 million people into extreme poverty. And so as we look at the work of Seeds for Change Foundation, the fight against poverty, the massive increase in vulnerability, desperation, marginalization across the world, it feels like the time to act has never felt more urgent.
So we've kind of taken the approach of thinking through how we can affect change in phases. And initially, it was just really focusing on basic needs for the most vulnerable populations who are more affected than all others. And something that we're really grateful for is that even before any of this pandemic started, we were investing in communities in sustainable ways. And as many of you have heard about our project in India that we launched at the summit last year, we together were able to fundraise, and with the support of the company and many of you, were able to provide seeds for over 500 families who had had their crops all washed out during the monsoon season. And we were excited about seeing their crops grow and everything. But especially this is more relevant than ever that they have had these crops during this time when food scarcity has been a big issue in these rural communities. And so knowing that these seeds that we provided to over 2,000 people have really taken especially an effect during this pandemic period.
This is Dr. Meera, founder director of SAPID organization. SAPID is working in the tribal, rural and urban areas for over 30 years. This is in regard to 2019 where there was a flash floods in the East Godavari district where we work with the tribals, poor tribals who live in the very remote and in the outskirts of the village in the forest area. And during the flash floods, it was the tribal fields were very, very badly affected, and the national disaster floods devastated the lives of the tribals, losing everything. See, the agriculture is their primary source of income, and losing agriculture means that means losing their food security, losing their income for the entire year. And when we discussed this with Melissa, she promptly responded and then contacted Seeds for Change Foundation, who was very kind to support 500 plus families to supply them seeds for agriculture. And this was a sort of a source of light in their lives, and they all happily received the seeds and sowed. and then they could get good income and agriculture product, which means they have a complete food security for over a year. And I need to mention this, during 2020, from March onwards, the entire country was affected with, not only the country, the entire world was affected with the pandemic COVID-19. And COVID-19 was such a blast to the people, such a blow to the people, where there was no income, no opportunity for the labor work, no stepping out of the house, which means it was close to starvation. But because of this change for Seeds for Change Foundation support for seed, the tribal all had a security for food. They had enough to eat, though they did not have much income, but they had enough to eat, which is worth mentioning. And thank you, Seeds for Change Foundation, for promptly responding to the needs of the poor farmers and the tribal families who live in a very remote area. Thank you very much.
Additionally, there at the beginning, as we started understanding who was really being affected most by this disease and by the effects of it, it was the elderly. And so right here, local to Rain's home base in Utah, we worked together with Meals on Wheels, which is an organization that works with the elderly, and we provided funding for over 1,000 meals to be delivered to the homes of elderly folks that were shut into their homes, and that especially needed help during this time. And many of you know about our partners in Uganda, that we've invested a lot in this community. And while they were in complete shutdown, people were not allowed to go on the streets, we were able to provide funding for our manager to go to each home of our artisans to bring food and sanitation supplies when they were not able to get it. And so really we were able to hold them over for several weeks until they could open back up. And then also here in Utah, we worked together with an organization that provides jobs and training for refugees who have come from all over the world to make a better life for their families here. And we, knowing the needs for people to have masks for social mobility and health, we partnered with their sewing program to provide jobs for these women. Then many of them had lost their main sources of income during the shutdown. We're able to sew masks that then were distributed throughout the community of refugees in the region. And so this is just a few of the things that we've focused on to provide basic needs to really hold people over during the most intense parts of our economic shutdown.
Yes, and now that economies are slowly starting to reopen, our focus is going back to how do we provide sustainable solutions to help people get back on their feet. We realize unemployment is rampant. The economic crisis is affecting people everywhere, again, especially in those poorest communities that are already affected by economic, social instability, conflict, etc. And so in Uganda, our workshop, which Byron, you got to be there for the inauguration. I want to show this quick video of things that are going on the ground right now.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Seeds for Change Foundation. We are so grateful for your love and for your support. We are so grateful for the sponsorship that you gave us on the land. Not only did you do that, but you enabled us to put up a beautiful structure where we are able to shelter the women and their children as they work. This building is more than you think you sponsored. In this building, questions are answered. In this building, tears are wiped. In this building, hope is found. We are so grateful that we are able to work with women and they are able to bring their children in the safe environment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I would like to add this on top of all that you've done. We are so grateful for the sponsorship of the generators. This is going to boost our work and production. Before, we were hiring generators to work in the dark, but now we'll be able to have electricity throughout and we'll be able to do massive productions. This is going to increase our profits by 30%. We are so grateful for your love and your support, and we love you. I would also like to personally thank everyone who has contributed to the Seeds for Change Foundation. Thank you so much, and may you be rewarded for your goodness.
And so yeah, that's Uganda. And like I said, Byron, you were able to be there for the inauguration of this building to give you a snapshot of the impact that has happened since then. When we broke ground to construct this workshop to provide employment opportunities to women living in extreme poverty, and these are women who are affected by AIDS, domestic violence, abandonment, health, children with disabilities, you name it. Highly vulnerable, but highly ambitious and resilient women. We were employing 20. Today, this week, there are 250 women being employed at this workshop. And this is a huge victory. Even outside of COVID, it would be a victory. But the fact that within our crisis, we've been able to steadily provide employment opportunities to women to be able to feed their children, ensure that they have access to medical care and education. It's just a huge success, something that could not be possible without you and without your contributions. Lately online, there's been a huge talk about human trafficking, as you've noticed, with 40 million people trapped in conditions of modern slavery right now. And that's everything from commercial sexual exploitation, labor trafficking, forced marriage, domestic servitude, etc. And when you look at what conditions that perpetuate people falling into exploitation, there's one, poverty, and there's two, desperation. And COVID has really driven poverty and desperation off the scale. And the reason I reference this is with major economic crises, we do see an increase in vulnerability and a demand for slave labor and supply chains as people are trying to cut costs. So this is also an issue that we're working with is the fact that this is exacerbating people's vulnerability. Their desperation might make them more inclined to accept job offers abroad where they didn't get trapped into conditions of exploitation or labor trafficking. And we're excited that during this pandemic, we've been able to continue to support our main human trafficking partnership in Kathmandu. For those of you who were at the Las Vegas convention, and which, by the way, I miss interacting with you all. It's always been a joy, but hopefully soon. But at this convention, every attendee got a tote bag, and these tote bags were made by survivors of sexual violence, exploitation, and trafficking. From our partnership in Kathmandu, these women have received vocational training, and it's been a means by which they can generate additional forms of revenue. And so currently we continue to support them as they've been on intense lockdown, with ensuring that in this shelter where 70 girls ages 4 months old to 18 years old are continually provided with adequate protection, food, psychological counseling, and education. And here is a short thank you video that they would love to share with our Rain Nation.
Namaste, hello, beautiful soul. I am Menuka Thapa, President of Raksha Nepal. I established this organization in 2004 when I was 21 years old. Raksha means protection. So we want to protect those women, girls and children who have been the victim of sexual violence, rape, domestic violence and trafficking. We are working for sexually exploited girls.
Thank you so much for your support. Please join hands together to end modern day slavery.
Hello and namaste from Raksha family. My name is Kumari. I was rescued by Raksha Nepal before 6 years ago. Kumari means living goddess. As I want to make you know that here at Raksha Nepal, we are altogether 70 girls, sisters. and we all have got new lives. So we are enjoying here, learning, laughing, crying at Roxy Nepal, and preparing ourselves for future. In such a pandemic situation, without meeting us, without knowing us, you plan to support us and you donated us such a valuable money. I want to thank you from my inner core of my heart, that thank you so much for your support. This means a lot for us. It's really valuable. You are not giving us money, you are giving us hope that there is someone helping us, there is someone who trusts us and who is always happy to see us happy and do something in future. Thank you so much from my inner core of heart. I love you. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seeds for Change Foundation, for your precious support. Thank you so much. We love you.
We are looking forward to our phase 3 is to scale this to involve all of you. And this will be a campaign that we're calling Seeds of Service. And stay tuned as we give you more information about how you can report to us on service that you've been able to do with your team, on things that you've received, how you've had help during this difficult time. And we want to hear from that, and we want to promote and share that across our social media to know what is happening around the world as each of you are engaging in making a difference, because that's what this company is about Seeds for Change. Each one of us can make our own communities and teams better through service. And so stay tuned as we give you more information about how we're going to support you, and be listening for what you are doing so that we can share that with the whole Rain Nation. So together we can really make a splash in this global poverty that has been even deepened this year. And I know that Byron has some stories that already are happening, that through this difficult time, what teams have been doing around the world to be able to make their communities better.
No, and I love that. Melissa, Arturo, thanks so much for sharing, giving everybody an update. But it's exactly right. I think here at Rain, we just attract a certain type of people that really want to make a difference, that really want to go out there and help. And we're seeing that happen, whether it's feeding people and making sure even our own people in Nigeria get fed by some of our great people there, or whether it's even helping animals that need help in Ukraine or other parts of the world, and different things we've done in Mexico. I love seeing all of the Rain partners step up and do things. And so as we put this together and provide this platform for more people to feel like they can get involved, these Seeds of Service, where really what we're going to do is we're going to designate 1 week out of every month where it's our Seeds for Service week, where we have the opportunity to do something with our families, by ourselves, with our teams in our local communities to make a difference. And then make sure that we communicate this with each other on the Seeds for Change Foundation Facebook page. So as we kind of wrap up today, Melissa, Arturo, once again, thank you. Is there anything that you would recommend to any of our people out there that are looking to try to find some things locally? What should they look for? How can they find ways to help or have ideas? Is there any words of advice that you would give them?
Yeah, Byron, that's a great question. There's always like a basic Google search in your city. There's people needing an extra hand of getting food delivered. The elderly, of course, are extremely vulnerable right now, especially those that might be a little bit isolated from their family members. If I can get a little bit personal, so I got COVID and I was pretty out for 3 weeks, completely isolated here in this little apartment. You deal with mental, I was experiencing some major downers. And so sometimes when we think of like, I want to change the world, we think, what can I do in Africa? What can I do in India? Where the things that felt life-saving to me was those check-ins from people who cared. I venture to say that the toll on the emotional health happening is being really underplayed right now. So knowing that the big movements of social change are just a combination of all these small acts of kindness and looking out for our neighbors, seeing what's in our backyards, connecting with friends we haven't heard from that might be struggling, especially those, single people in their mid 30s. And yeah, I think that can definitely go a long way.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing, Arturo. Thank you.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, with this campaign, this Seeds of Service, I think we really can. We're seeing a lot of negativity on online and in the news and social media. And what we want to do is hear about even these small things that either people are doing for you or you're able to do for others, so that we can kind of, share goodness and be able to spread positivity, and uplift each other and give each other ideas of how we can be these seeds that grow into bigger change. So we are excited to launch this and hear from you and connect with you at this time remotely, and we can make it a positive thing.
No, that's awesome. No, I love that. And I think you're exactly right. If we go out there and we utilize this and we take the time to do some local service or help people that we care about, or just reach out to them like you're talking about, Arturo, and we can post this, not only is it showing that there's good in the world and there's people out there doing good, but it's also going to give people ideas. It's like, you know what? I can go do that. I can go check in my local city and see if I can do that. That's a great idea. And I think that's just a collaboration of a lot of people doing a little bit. Just like we say, one drop of rain doesn't mean anything, but millions of drops of rain can fill an ocean. And so that's the beauty of what we're doing and how we're doing it, is everything we do does matter and everything we do can make a difference. And so great words of advice and encouragement. And I too am excited to get this started.
Oh, well, thank you guys for sharing and the things that you're doing. And, with this new platform, it really is truly that it is going to be little seeds of change. And that's what, this is all about, is making sure that we leave this world at a little bit better place, because it is, a place that needs hope, that needs help. And, that little bit that everybody does, like Byron just said, is going to have a big impact and literally change people's lives for the better. So thank you guys for what you're doing and helping us. And, with this foundation, it's an amazing thing that you guys have been able to do. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen the next few weeks and months as we implement this little new little addition to our Seeds for Change Foundation.
Yes. Thanks so much for being here. Listen, thanks, Arturo. Appreciate all the work you're doing and all the good that you do.
Thanks, Byron. Thanks, Casey. And to reiterate one more time, please share with us those good acts of goodness that you're either seeing, witnessing, you're doing, people are doing to you. The reason why is, when we talk about our company's core values and the importance of we need to share our core values to the world. As Melissa and I got to travel and engage with RAIN people, like Byron said, I do feel, and I mean this so genuinely, that this company is attracting a certain caliber of person. And when I think about showing our core values, I think of our distributors, our partners are the lived expression of those values. And that's what we want to share, to just spread that goodness around the earth in a time where it's never been needed more.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. We really do. We love Seeds for Change Foundation. Thanks, everybody.